Hey, I am Care Monique, the Business Basics Maven, and I would like to welcome you to my channel. Today, we are actually going to be talking about things to look for in a business checking account, particularly a checking account. We're going to stick to one type of account for this particular video. But for those of you who are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, to hit that like button. If you really love this video or have questions, leave me some comments. And then also, don't forget to head on over to Instagram and follow me at Care Monique. So let's jump right into this video. So today's video is actually not going to be that long, but I've been walking you all through kind of what I would like to call a series on some of the things that you should do to get started in business. We're at the very beginning. So I have some other videos if you want to check them out. If you are still working on a business idea, or if you are looking for how to fund your business, those types of things, I definitely have some videos that are up about that. Today's video in particular is going to focus on things to look for in a business checking account and how to open one. So a couple of things. One, let's talk about why you need a business checking account. You all, this is so crucial. I meet with so many entrepreneurs who are mixing funds. And then what happens is I ask them, I said, well, how much are you making in your business? They have no clue. I say, what formula are you using to set your prices? Oh, I just double what I pay for it. That's not necessarily a horrible thing, but you might not actually be reaching your perfect profit potential. You also might not be putting money where it's supposed to go if you're commingling or if you don't have systems in place. So one of the systems, and I think everything is a funnel, everything is a system. I'll make a video on that another day. But one system that I think at the very beginning of starting a business you should put in place is a business checking account. I don't care if you are making only $10 a month. That $10 needs to go into that business account. So many benefits to it. For one, when you incorporate your business, when you legalize your business, and when you're able to prove that you're making money or that you're spending things on business expenditures, when tax time rolls around, you're able to prove those things possibly for tax write-offs, for credits, and things like that. Also, when you are applying for grants, loans, those types of things, they often are going to ask you for bank statements or at least a place for them to deposit the funds. It's much better to have your funds deposited into a business account where you're able to track everything for the business, opposed to putting them in your personal account and then you accidentally spend that grant money that was meant for your new inventory or whatever that is. So that is basically the main reason that you are going to want to open a business checking account. The other reason is, come on y'all, it gives your business some status. It gives your business some credibility. When you have a business bank account, you feel, let's just be honest, you feel like you have a business. When you're mixing and commingling funds, it can feel like a hobby. So I recommend to all of my clients, I'm recommending to you, everything that makes your business feel official, that makes sense, do it. A business bank account is one of the things. So let's jump into what you should look for in a business bank account. So I am going to name off 5 things. So the very first thing is accessibility. Y'all, I know that sounds super silly because online banking is a thing. You can get your money from almost anywhere, ATMs, all of that. But one of the things that I learned when I opened my first business checking account was I was still doing pop-up shops and needing to get cash out for change and things like that. And I only had 2 locations in my entire city for my original bank. So I would, in my business bank account at that time, accrued a fee if you used another ATM. And y'all, when it comes to me, I want all my coins in my business. I don't want to get a bunch of fees. So if I had a pop-up shop and I forgot to get money the night before or the day before when the bank was open, I had to run across the city to that bank or suffer the $4 ATM fee, which may not sound like a lot, but it does when those start to add up. So that was the first thing I would say is accessibility. If something goes wrong, how can you contact your bank? How can you get to your bank? If you need your money, how can you get your money out of your bank? How can you do transfers or things like that? What kind of penalties and things happen with that? Because there are some bank accounts, business bank accounts in particular, that have fees for certain things. The second thing that I would really look for is the threshold for how much money has to be in the account before you're charged like a tax or a fee or something like that. So some business checking accounts, like my business checking account that I have, there's no baseline minimum of money that has to be in my account. So that is one of the things that I really loved about it, is like my cash flow can be high, it can be low, it can be wherever. I don't have to keep a minimum for my account not to accrue a fee. When I tell you those fees add up, you'll see something on a bank account and it'll say $4, $7 here and there. But when those start to come every couple weeks or every couple months, they truly add up. So I highly recommend you get a bank account that fits the needs of your business in terms of cash flow or reserve also, because if you are only making $2,000 a month and your account requires that you have $750 in reserve, that there's $750 in that account all the time, that's going to be a little taxing for you if you're only bringing in possibly $2,000 and $750 has to always sit. You're never going to be able to really use that money. So make sure that you are really paying attention to that. The third thing that I would look for, if you do a lot of transactions, I would really look at how many transactions can you do, if there's a limit or an amount that you can do in a month before you start to get charged per transaction. So one of my bank accounts, I have a bank account that I truly love. I chose this bank account in particular for the international spending advantages. So that's why I chose this account. But with that account, one of the things that my bank does is I in particular have 75 transactions that I'm able to do per month. And then after that, I'm charged 5 cents per transaction. So I have a couple of different bank accounts, so I manage that in a couple of different ways. So I make sure that only certain things are coming out of that main operations account, and then I have a couple of other accounts that I can do more transactions in or things like that. But that was worth it to me in comparison to some of the other banks that I looked at because of their international fees. So that's going to lead me into my number 4. So number 4, if you do business internationally like me, or spend quite a bit of money exploring international trades and all that kind of stuff, I highly recommend that you get a bank account that does not charge you international fees, or a bank account that is international friendly. Meaning that your wire transfers, you can wire internationally without there being any trouble, or without the fee being hundreds of dollars, that every time an international transaction comes in or goes out, that you're not being charged an absorbent amount of money, those kind of things, because that does exist. It's very real, especially in the business world, for them to tax on the international fees for international spending. And believe it or not, some of you don't even know possibly that you are accruing an international charge, and you might not find that out until you open a business bank account. So one thing, for example, one of my marketing firm that I use for a lot of my advertisement for Facebook and things like that, they actually are based out of the country, even though all of their workers are here in the U.S. The owner, he started it when he was traveling or something like that. He had moved out the country for a short period of time, started it, so the business is still underneath whatever he incorporated over in that country. So even though all of my business is particularly done here in the U.S., I am paying the international cost, shall I say, of working with that company. Translated to US dollars is still very comparable, all of that. But that's super important to me because they're running my Facebook ads, which means I'm getting charged daily as well as whatever their fee is. So just making sure that I'm not charged a ton of money for that. So that was something that I learned very quickly when I hired a marketing firm, was that, oh, it's US based, but it was started in another country. So I am technically working with an international company. So that is another thing that you might want to look out for. And then also, a lot of these companies, even like when you're shopping regularly, a lot of them are like based in other countries. Like China is huge for everything. Like you've probably bought something in the last week that was manufactured or created in China. And even though the store that you got it from might say that they have U.S. currency, they could possibly be getting their stuff coming directly from China to you. It could be drop shipped or things like that. You might not necessarily be accruing that fee, but it's just something to think about. International business is not foreign, is what I want you to really understand, is that it's not that crazy to think that you might not be doing international business, because you probably will. And then the fifth and final thing that I would say to look for in a business bank account is relationship. I know that sounds crazy, but at some point you are going to want your bank to be a benefit to you. Whether you're trying to get a line of credit, whether you are trying to waive fees on something, whether you are trying to just build business credit, you want to work with the bank that wants to work with you. I highly, highly recommend that you go into your branch, if possible, your local branch at least. Go into your local branch, talk to someone at the bank before you open a business bank account. Don't just do it online. Don't just pick the first bank you see. Go and see what kind of relationship you're able to build. They're going to be someone that you need, or in turn, you might need them for something, especially if you were looking to get a line of credit, like I mentioned, open a credit card, things like that. And the longevity in a business banking relationship is so beneficial. So my bank folks at my local branch, they know me by first name. They actually know me by nickname as well. They know my dogs. Like when I tell you I go in to the bank, especially when I first started doing business, that's the other thing is I did not do a lot of stuff at the ATM. I was going in, so they were familiar with my face. They were familiar with some of the transactions that I was going to be doing, especially when I first started out doing pop-up shops and stuff, because I wanted to get change. I wanted to, let them know, like, talk about my business. So also, your business becomes their business if they're really about you. So they recommend you. Like, I got some of my clientele actually from a couple of the reps at the bank who were like, I come in, they be like, Care, I told somebody about your business this week. We were chatting it up and they were looking for shoes, or they were looking for makeup, or whatever it is. So just know that a business relationship can also be super, super beneficial. So I am actually going to drop a couple of my recommendations in the description below for some of the bank accounts that I kind of recommend. Totally up to you what fits your business, but one's like some proper language that I've seen in bank accounts, some things that are normal and aren't too scary for you to kind of wrap your head around. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you have some questions. This was kind of a quick one and kind of a quick fit, but I will be sure to do a follow-up video if needed, if you all want to dig into a little bit more around bank accounts. But I wanted to at least give you my 5 tips for the main things that you should be looking for in opening a business bank account. All right, y'all, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. Follow me on Instagram and know that I love you all so, so much. Bye.